Right, the Bonfus Framus 48 lightweight backpack. How does it fare? Let's find out. I recently had the Bonfus 48 out on the Cumbria Way, the mountain route. For reference, I was carrying probably between 12 to 15 kilos, maybe just slightly over 15 kilos, depending on my food level and also my water during the hike, and also what layers I had on and what layers were stored inside or outside the pack itself. What I'm going to do on this review is go through some of the specifications so we can have a look at the materials, go through the feature set, and then we'll sum up what my final thoughts are on this lightweight backpack. So Bonfus is a small family-run business that creates ultralight gear. These include lightweight backpacks and ultralight tents, and including some other ultralight gear, including food bags, packing cubes, that sort of thing. So it's a small Italian-based business, and originally founded in Norway, I believe, and then moved to Italy. But then the manufacturing was then moved to Mexico. So they have a small team in Mexico that produce and manufacture all of their gear. A nice touch that you actually get when you get any of the gear, and the gear that I've had is this bag, and then to hit that pockets is you get a little tag, and the little tag names who actually sewed the bag, made the gear, put it all together, and it really shows with the quality of the construction of this bag. So let's have a look at the materials. The bag is made of Ultra 200 fabric, with exception to the bottom, which is actually Ultra 400 at the bottom here. The side pockets and the hip belt is 210D Robic, which is in itself quite a tough material. And then the outer pocket here, so this stretchy mesh pocket here, this is a nylon spandex stretchy mesh. And as you can see, it does have quite a lot of stretch to it, but we'll come back onto the pockets shortly. The hip belts and also the shoulder straps have quite a thick foam. On the shoulder straps, it's 11mm EVA foam, and on the hip belt, it's 38mm EVA foam. And then you've also got padding on the back of the pad here. If you do opt for the hip belt pockets, these are also Ultra 200. In terms of weight, the bag as it comes without the hip belt pockets weighs in at 720 grams, so that is already a very light backpack indeed. However, if you remove the back panel foam and also the two stays, it will reduce the backpack weight to 560 grams. So you can convert this to an ultra light backpack. So if you're carrying much less weight, if you're going on an ultralight hiking trip, it's in the summer, you don't need huge amounts of gear, yeah, you can remove the frame, remove the back panel foam, and you can really convert this into an ultralight bag, which is a really good feature. Right, let's have a look at some of the features of this bag. So, let's start with the front of the bag. So we've got this stretchy mesh, and you can really stuff quite a lot into this stretchy mesh front pocket here. It does expand quite a lot. However, I do have a few question marks about how well this will hold up against if you're kind of bushwhacking through thorny bushes, that sort of thing. Because as you can see, if I stretch that out, you can see my fingers through it, and I am a bit worried about if sharper items kind of poke their way through these holes, is it actually going to cause any tears? I haven't had any problems with it, but it is something to bear in mind. Also on the front of the pack, you have this ice axe / trekking pole loop here, and then you can connect it to the top here. You only have one, so you don't have an ice axe loop on one side, then trekking poles on the other. You've got nothing on this side here. So this side here is blank, but you do have these loops here. The side pockets are not huge, so they're not, as some bags, they're not cavernous at all. This is a 1400 millilitre Nalgene bottle, and that fits in nicely there. and it does leave then some room. So you can then slide in things like, if you're looking at sliding down your water filter or tent pegs or whatnot, that will go down nicely there. There's no drainage holes on the bottom, so if water does get in here, then that could potentially pool up. And then that is also then the same on the other side. There's no long pockets or anything like that. They're both the same size. But you do have to bear in mind, yeah, these aren't the biggest pockets that I've seen on a lightweight backpack. On each side, you've got this compression strap here. It compresses the bag down a little bit, but not massively, but I don't think that's a problem. I think that mainly it's just great for being able to lash gear down the outside here. So if you want to store, for example, your trekking poles down here, you can put them down, have on the outside maybe a sit pad, or even your tent poles you could store down there and just securely fasten them like so. Coming to the top of the bag here, you have this Y strap going across the top, which is great. So you can put things like a rain jacket or something on top of the bag. I presume it's long enough to house a bear canister of some sort. I have zero experience in that, not living in the States or going anywhere where there's bears. But you do have this ladder lock here, which extends the Y strap quite a bit, and you've also got a bit of give here as well. So that does give you quite a bit of coverage here, look, that you can attach something to. Rather large on the outside. Personally, I prefer having a Y strap as opposed to a single strap, so I'm glad that that's included here. Coming to the back of the backpack, so you've got some load lifters here, which is great to see on an ultralight bag. Not all ultralight bags do have load lifters on. Hyperlight mounted gear, for example, do not have them on. So it's a great addition to see. I really like having load lifters because I like the pack firmly against my back, not pulling away. The shoulder straps are not super soft. They obviously will soften up over time, but out of the box they're not super soft, but they do wrap around your shoulders quite well. I didn't experience any shoulder pain whilst I was using this bag. You also have daisy chain loops going down either side, so you can lash gear to the shoulder straps. And then obviously you've got your sternum strap here, which is simply looped on. So it's got this simple loop here. So you can easily just take that off. It's quite a simple means of putting the sternum strap on. And then you can just move that up and down as you need. As you can see, there's no pockets on the shoulder straps. Now, a few years back, I would have complained about not having pockets on the shoulder straps. It's something that I did particularly like. But actually, I have to say, in recent years, I've come to actually prefer just having the ability to lash gear on the outside of here, such as having an InReach Mini attached here, then adding my own shoulder pocket here, rather than having them fixed, which does limit the use for them. Because the problem is, if you've got pockets here and here, which you do on the Durston X-Mid, for example, and you do also on the Atom packs, the Mo, then yeah, you limit other things that you can then put on the outside. So actually, I prefer not having them and then having the ability to attach my own. Now, Bonfus do actually also sell pockets for the shoulder straps, and obviously they also sell the hip belt pockets as well, which I've purchased, which I will show you in a minute. And then coming down to the base of the back, you've got the lumbar pad here, which has got some foam in it, and like the shoulder straps, aren't massively padded, and they're not huge either. For example, on my Waymark pack, the Embr, the hip belt is much bigger. But I haven't had a problem with transferring loads to the hips with these. They've been absolutely fine. I'll come on to the load carrying capacity shortly. And then an accessory that you can add is this hip belt pocket. Now, as you can see, they're not huge, the pockets, actually. They're quite small. I was surprised, really, at the size of them. But actually, I found them quite good because they're not very big. And you don't need to put loads of stuff in your hip belt pockets. You really don't. And on my Waymark pack, they are much bigger. But actually, these are much more compact. I don't find that my hand, as I'm walking, rubs against the hip belt pockets. They are sufficient, let's say. They're sufficient to fit enough stuff inside them. The seams of them are also taped, so they should, in theory, keep everything 100% dry inside of here. You do have a toggle on the hip belt pocket on both sides to open and close. Obviously, also it's got a waterproof zipper on it, but you can't open and close it with one hand. It's not going to happen. So you do have to use the little toggles that are provided. The hip belt fastener has this. This is a nice chunky buckle. Now it pulls away from you like so. So it doesn't pull inwards like a lot of hip belts do these days with backpacks, which was a bit of a surprise to me, and I wasn't sure whether I was going to like that, because I am used to pulling inwards as opposed to outwards. Whilst I don't find it a huge problem at all, I would prefer the method of pulling in. I do find it easier, but actually it wasn't a problem. It wasn't a problem at all. I thought it would be a bit of an issue for me to be able to really tighten down the hip belt to get the load transferred to the hips, but it was a non-issue. So I was quite happy with that. It doesn't make, it's not a negative, put it that way, it's not a negative mark against this bag at all. Whilst my preference would be to have it the other way around, it's not a problem. Right, let's look at the top of the bag. So we've already had a look at the Y strap. The bag is closed by these two straps and clips here. So you unbuckle either side and then unroll. So it's a roll top closure. And then you've got these little buttons here to button and unbutton the bag to gain access to it. There's no more frills to it than that. So here's my next question mark, should I say. I'm not sure why they didn't include a male-female clip here. So it gives you the option to go up and over. Again, it's not something that I found a problem with the bag. I wasn't using it on the Cumbria Way thinking, yeah, I really missed that. I don't like this bag because of it. Actually, it was a non-issue. I was quite happy to just fasten them down the sides like so. But I think just simply switching these buckles around, so you have male, female switched on either side, does give you the option to then just store that away in the pocket and go over the top if you want to, because it does make it slightly quicker to use. Again, it's not a massive issue. It's not something that I would say, oh no, I wouldn't buy the bag because of that. But it's just something to bear in mind. And yeah, it's an interesting option that they didn't do that. The Atom Packs, the Mo, for example, does do that. So it has an option to go down the sides, but it also switches the male-female clips. So you can go up and over the top as well. So it gives you those two options. I do like the fact that it's got these buttons here, which is what you also do get on the Atom Packs, the Mo as well. On my Waymark Embr, it has Velcro, which I'm not a massive fan of. And then on the Durston X-Mid, it doesn't have anything at all, which is fine, but it does just make it slightly easier when you button them up to then fold it all down and it stays in place rather than one part of it, especially if you've got quite a full bag, kind of coming apart. So I do like that feature. Looking inside the bag is a load of gear, so I'm just going to take all of this gear out, and then you've got one big opening like so. You get this little label here. It's made by Bonfus, and it tells you that it's ultra fabric as well. Now, one of the really nice things, this is a really nice touch you don't get on many bags, is the seams are taped. Obviously you can tape seams yourselves, but they've taken the time to tape all of these seams inside the bag. So in theory, this bag is 100% waterproof. They don't claim that. They don't claim it on their site. They say it's water resistant, and it adds to the water resistancy. I would always put a pack liner in here of some sort, whether it be a bin bag or a dry bag or whatever. I use a Nylafilm pack liner, and so to double to make sure that you don't want like your sleeping bag to get wet, for example, or your sleeping pad to get wet. So I do make sure that I put everything in some kind of bag, regardless of the fact that it's got tape seams, but it does mean that there's little chance that your stuff's going to get wet. The next thing we've got here is the frame. So you've got this Velcro fastener here, and then this is where your frame is. So obviously you've got two of these frames, and they come pre-bent. You can bend the frames to mould your back to the shape of your back, which I've done ever so slightly. You've got to be careful when doing that. Just do it in small steps, and then if it's not right, then bend it back again. But obviously you can remove these if you don't want any frame inside, if you're carrying lighter loads. And simply slot that back in there, and then just fasten it. And then it's got this nice, as you can see, look at this nice thick padded foam here. And I haven't had any problems with things pressing into my back. Well, actually that's a slight lie. Once I did. Once on the Cumbria Way I did. And it was because of this. This is my electronics bag. So obviously there's some hard plastic stuff in here. And once I had it, so it was kind of sticking against my back, and I could feel it a bit. But actually, after a while, that issue went away. I did, then when I stopped and took the bag off, just repacked it ever so slightly. But other than that, I don't feel anything pushing against my back. It's much better padding than that's on the outer packs than Nemo, and it's much better padding that's on the Waymark Embr that I have. It is really, really thick and comfy, so that's a nice touch. And on the inside, that is it. You don't have any hydration ports. You don't have anywhere to put a water bladder, reservoir, or anything like that. Something that I personally don't use or would never use inside a bag. I'd be far too scared of the hydration bag breaking and my stuff getting soaked. So the omission of anywhere to put one for me is not an issue at all. And obviously it helps keeps the weight down. There's no extra pockets on here, so there's no zipped pockets to put anything like credit cards or stuff like that. There's no keyring holders to maybe attach your keys to keep them safe. Nothing like that. It's very, very simple and straightforward. Make of that what you will. If you want a bag with a few more pockets, then this probably isn't for you. But personally, the only thing for me would be somewhere potentially to keep my credit card safe. But I can just nestle them within a coat pocket or something like that, and make sure they're inside my bag or in a bag that's, there's ways you can get around that. It's not an issue. One thing I do like is somewhere to attach my keys to. So when I'm out hiking, instead of relying on putting them in a hip out pocket or something like that, somewhere where they could potentially get lost when you're opening them and putting stuff out, just having somewhere just to attach them to. But you can buy little keyring hooks which then stick to the fabric on the inside, and they'll still stick pretty much permanently. You can get them from Wild Sky Gear, for example, in the UK, and then you can just attach your keyring to that. Solved. So low carrying capacity. So this is rated up to 18 kilos. My experience would be I would feel uncomfortable at 18 kilos with it. I haven't taken it to 18 kilos, I will state that now. I have taken it up to probably mid-15s, 15 coming on 16 kilo. And it was fine. It transferred the loads to my hips fine. I didn't feel any weight pulling on my shoulders particularly. But it was just on the cusp of kind of like, I could feel the bag was there. I've got other bags, such as the Waymark Embr, which I've loaded to 21 kilo, and that's rated to 18 kilos. But that handled it better than this bag here. It's not a negative against this bag. This bag is much lighter than the Waymark Embr, for example. This is meant as a lightweight / ultralight backpack. To be honest, if you're looking at these sorts of bags, really you're going to be, I would say, looking at carrying lightweight gear. I doubt very much you're going to be the sort of hiker that is going to have particularly heavy gear. When I was doing the Cumbria Way, it was cold. It dropped down to freezing at night, so I had a lot of my winter gear. I had my winter jacket, waterproof jacket, waterproof bottoms. I had down jacket. I had down pants. I had down booties. I had a few changes of socks. I had base layers, and I had my Durston X-Mid 2 with the solid interior as well. So I was probably fluctuating really between, I would say, between 11 and 15 kilos at the start, maybe slightly over 15 kilos, 15.5 kilos at the start, and then that obviously dropped down as the journey went on. By the end of the trip, I hardly knew the bag was on my back. It was fine. So the 18 kilos, I'm not sure of, and it's very variable from person to person. So it depends on the person. I'm a smaller guy, so I'm probably going to feel it a little bit more than someone who's a bit bigger, who might be able to carry that 18 kilos in the bag, the rated 18 kilos better than myself. Again, I'm not saying that's a negative against the bag. If I personally think it will struggle at 18 or might feel a little bit uncomfortable on me, someone else it would feel fine. But for my uses, which would be between the kind of the 12 to 14 kilo kind of range, maybe slightly lower, 11 to 14 kilo range with lightweight gear, especially going out in the summer, it would be just fine. I haven't tried it without the frame in, so I can't comment on how comfortable that is. I have taken them out, I have loaded the bag up, I have put some, I think I've weighed it in at probably around 10 kilo, and it was fine. I felt it a little bit more on my shoulders at 10 kilo, as you would expect without the frame inside, but it was just fine. And it does give you then that option to be able to take this on an aeroplane as well, if you just want to take carry-on, for example, assuming you're not taking tent pegs in it, or if you're not taking trekking poles in it, then you could potentially put this on as carry-on by taking the frames out. So what's my final thoughts on the Bonfus Framus 48? I think this is an exceptionally well-made bag. The materials are top-notch. You can see the quality of the build in this bag. It carries comfortably well within the loads that I've mentioned previously. You probably could carry higher. Maybe if you're slightly bigger set, then it would be fine. It comes in 3 different torso lengths, so you've got a small, a medium, and a large. I fell within the large bracket. Obviously, the torso's not adjustable in any way, shape, or form, so you do have to make sure you're getting the right frame size. In terms of costs, you can pick this up in the UK from Valley and Peak. The cost from Valley Peak when I purchased it was £360. You have to also bear in mind that doesn't come with shoulder pockets, it doesn't come with hip belt pockets either, so you need to purchase those separately. So it is quite an expensive bag. So you need to bear that in mind. It's not a cheap bag, but it is a quality bag. So if you're looking for a really well-made quality bag that looks great, it's a great looking pack, I think. I think it screams quality. Yeah, it looks great, performs well. If you've got a nice dialed-in kit, lightweight kit, if you don't need loads of external space, you know, in your hip belt pockets, or your side pockets, it's perfect. In terms of the litres, so it's something I forgot to mention at the start of the review. So it's a 48 litre, which is 40 litres internal and then 8 external. So you've got 8 based on the stretchy mesh pocket and then also the 2 side pockets. And obviously if you purchase the hip belts, that's going to give you a little bit more volume there as well. Right, I'm just going to pop this bag on. So you can see how it fits with me wearing it. So you can see here, you've got the hip belts. You can see how I have to pull away from me. So to fasten it up, I just have to kind of do it either side, like so, until I'm happy that it's tight. Just the straps. And you've got load lifters here to pull it against your back. And there we go. In this bag currently there is about 14.5 kilo, and yeah, it feels nice. I know the bag's there, obviously, but yeah, it feels nice and comfy. So there you go. So that's my review of the Bonfus Framus 48. If you've got any questions or comments, please drop them below. And if you found this review helpful, please do like and subscribe, because it really does help the channel. Thanks for watching. As always, stay safe, keep on trekking, and I'll see you on the next one.